you so much. And I am so, you guys, I'm proud of these leaders. I'm proud for them because they have like hit the ground running. And if you saw all of these little flyers all over Facebook, like the whole secret business going on, like what an amazing job for creating such an exciting atmosphere for us to like walk into. And I had nothing to do with that. So thank you very much, leaders. You guys are awesome. So if you guys want to do a little you, I absolutely want to make sure that they get all the credit. And now that we have Yaya, they're going to have an awesome support system there. So it's going to be fantastic. So I am looking forward to actually coming in and just being a member on this platform and just letting them go for it. But I thank you for this honor of speaking first. It's always an honor to speak first at a launch. And I hope that the information that I present is something of value. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. My information is already in the chat. If you have any questions on this, or if you just want to get to know me more, I am always there. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and Becky, let me know if you can see this.
Yep.
Okay, good. So using the power of your network. Now, ladies, if you listen to the bio, you heard that I was a teacher first. So everybody get out a piece of paper because you're going to need some, all right? This is what I want you to do. And if you've seen this presentation before, I know you're going to still get some more value out of it. So let's just go ahead. Let me get on this. Okay, so while I'm talking, what I want you to do, and no cheating, because the last time I did this, someone at the end said, oh, it's all in my database. I just have to click a button and I can see it. Listen, that's not the point here. The point is that you need to write down the people's names as they come to your mind. And that could be anybody. But what I want you to do is write down every single person's name that jumps into your head while I'm doing this presentation. Because at the end, I'm going to give you a little prize. Whoever has the most names written down, and you have to show us that piece of paper, okay? All right, so we're going to start off with what is your network? Kind of fitting because, hello, this is a network. I took it straight out of the dictionary. Network is any net-like combination of filaments, lines, veins, passages, or the like, a network of arteries. Well, that's interesting. Let's see what arteries are. Blood vessels that deliver oxygen-rich blood to the heart and the tissue of the body. That means it sustains life in both body and business, people. Your network will sustain life in both body and business. Let's go on to who is in your network. Anybody, like literally anybody you know. And here we go. Think about the person that just popped in your head. Friends from T-ball, from elementary, from high school, from college, from trade school. Listen, your wine club, your knitting club, your, gossip friend, your person that you just love to hang out with, the neighbor 2 doors down you haven't talked to in 6 months. Anybody, okay? So start thinking about people like that. Family, near and far, past and present. Anybody here still friends with an ex-sibling? Anybody? I know I am. Maybe not friends with the ex anymore, that's for sure, but still friends with their siblings. Because you're right, thank you for the thumbs up. These people are also in your network. I just want you to write it down. Trust me, I'm getting to a point here, I promise you. Your coworkers, past and present, like people that you used to work with and that you absolutely fell in love with, and for some reason you haven't talked to them in forever. Your own service people, your HVAC guy, your landscaper, your dog walker, your groomer, your salon person, like anybody that you pay money to should be listed down as in your network. Special interest groups, volunteer. Anybody volunteer? I know we got a lot of ladies in here that volunteer. Right. Thank you, Suzanne, for raising her hand. I saw that. Yes, volunteering. Who do you volunteer with? Who do you like I know that once in a while I work at the polls, and Lord Jesus, we ain't getting involved in that conversation right now. But I know a few people in the polls that I work with that the only time I ever talk to them is when I'm in the polls. And I should reach out to them and just have coffee, right? So special interest. Now, here's my point. A lot of people are very hesitant to put their friends in their networking group. Well, here's a story about a friend connection. And people are scared because I don't want to sell to my friends. I don't want to feel pushy to my friends. I don't want to get my friends involved, yada, yada, yada. Okay, well, here's me. He looks a little bit like me. Here's my friend. His name is Alex. Alex and I met when Alex was in San Jose State University, and I was running the women's group for ministry, believe it or not. And that's what I was doing. I still like to swear a little bit, but I did have options of preach at the pulpit. So here's the point. Alex and I stayed connected, right? He was like my little brother. Wow, my 5-year-old is going nuts. So he and I stayed connected. Now, after he graduated college, we kind of lost touch for a few years. But eventually we came back together and started chatting. And he was like, hey, Mel, what's going on? I told him what was going on. And I said, I need connections to places okay, so he asked me what was going on, and I said, hey, I really need connections for manufacturers in China. And he's like, oh, I know someone. I'm like, shut up, you do not. This little kid from San Jose, like, seriously? He goes, no, my roommate Eric in San Jose State, his dad owns one of the biggest manufacturers in China. I'm like, shut up. So he introduced me to Eric, and hence Eric. Notice they have the same haircut. Okay, so I call Eric, and I get on the phone with him, and I have a Zoom call with him, and I start talking with him. And look at that. Not only does he have a manufacturing company in China, but he knows several others who he can connect me with. The moral of the story is I didn't sell anything to my friend Alex, not one thing. But Alex connected me with huge suppliers for a venture. So this is an amazing tale of the value of your network. And that's just one of many that I have, where the first person that I come in contact with, my little friend Alex here, I didn't have to sell anything to. I was just open and honest with him, letting them know, hey, this is what I'm looking for and this is what I need. Any questions on that? Any comments on that? I love interaction. So if you have anybody here has something to say? Nothing? I got crickets? Okay. Excuse me. Understanding your network. So here's the difference between the golden egg, a golden goose, and a granny goose. I love this little analogy. Your golden egg is anybody you do business with directly. You exchange money with back and forth, okay? So I'm going to use real estate because one of the products that I sell, real estate agents love. And so I deal directly with a real estate agent. So for me, my golden egg of many, and this is one niche, but it's a real estate agent, okay? Because that's the person who will actually pay me for my service. So those are my golden eggs. How many real estate agents would that take? A lot of, that's a lot of talking, right? Okay. Then there's the golden goose. Those that have plenty of networks of your clients. Who's my golden goose for a real estate agent? Someone unmute. Someone give me something back because I can't talk forever here.
A broker.
Thank you. Oh, Lexi, I knew you would speak up, girl. You can't be silent long. Okay, so we have a broker, right? So that would be, look, I could go to, there's several brokers in this area, right? Because there's several thousand agents just in Loudoun County alone. And there's several brokers that I could go to, right? Well, here's the other thing. So I can go to a broker, make a presentation to 50 different agents, and now I only had to talk once to get 50 opportunities. Does that make sense? Yes, okay. So golden geese are awesome. Thank you, Lexi. Come on, girl. Feedback, love it. So the last one is the granny goose. It's the person or entity that has a large bunch of our golden geese. So who has a large bunch of our golden geese?
A realtor or broker association.
Yeah, the association. So maybe I bring coffee and donuts to Navarre, right? Like anywhere, any other real estate association, and go hang out and pay attention and listen. Now, can you imagine if I made a presentation for all of my golden geese? That gives me literal access to thousands of other agents. If I make a presentation at one of the associations, that is getting a presentation into all of the brokers. And then the brokers I get to reach out to and say, hey, can I make a presentation for you? You see how important it is when you go up the food chain, right? Or I could spend all my time finding a real estate agent, and all you have to do is stand on the street corner and say, hey, are you an agent? And then somebody will say, yes, me, right? So you got one. But do you really have one, right? You're going to talk and talk and talk. Why not talk and talk and talk to the person who's very well connected? Does anybody want to run through this with a niche that they have? Anybody? I'm going to stop share for just a second because I really want some interaction here. Does anybody need help with this? Does anybody not understand who they should be running up the chain with?
Hey, Melanie, this is Sally. So since you know Marvin has a sign business and works with a lot of realtors, what I have done is I have reached out to like the office manager of the realtor, you know, that. So my connections kind of through her, which is helping me to get other connections.
Right. So she's basically a golden goose. She's not the granny goose, but she's a golden goose for you.
Yeah, but that's working up to the big one too.
Right.
Yeah, but she's feeding me the information so I know who to reach out to.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. Does anybody have like not the real estate industry, but does anybody want to like try to? And we're gonna help each other here because I'm not sure if I have the answer.
It looks like Holly Shan maybe is volunteering.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think where I am, I'm kind of stuck at the golden goose, and I'm trying to figure out where the granny goose is. So
okay,
I'm looking.
Who are your eggs?
So my eggs are people who have either recently lost a pet and are grieving really hard about it, or someone who's received terminal illness, or where their pet has received a terminal illness diagnosis, and they're in that pre-grief state. Okay, that's the egg. The goose would be veterinarians. And so now what I'm trying to figure out is who that granny goose would be.
So to me, the granny goose would be the licensing for veterinarian clinics.
There's also associations of veterinarians. There's a number of associations that are outside of their licensing, just like there are realtor associations.
Okay.
There are large national networks of veterinarians.
Okay, thank you.
Right.
That's where I was getting stuck. It's like, okay, I've got, I love the introductions to veterinarians, and it's like, okay, where do we go above that?
Right. I would ask your veterinarian offices, what associations do your doctors belong to?
Yeah, that's a great question, Kamala. Thank you. See, I did not know that.
I would even add in, Holly, if I remember correctly, fully what your field is, I would even add in adoption groups. Because they do a lot with people who have recently lost a pet, who are now getting a new one. So that could be a good one too, as well as I feel like they are also more community activated as opposed to associations, to where they would be very willing to help.
Yeah, I have a couple of I don't want to say irons in the fire, but I have a couple of connections with those. So like with rescue groups and adoption groups and stuff like that too. So I just have to keep top of mind with them because they're not always responsive.
Awesome.
But
I would also look at emergency vets, because emergency vets are a different category than regular vets. And vets, because they are the ones that tend to get those unexpected last minute, oh my gosh, my pet's dying thing, because we had that experience. So our regular vet at the time didn't have a 24-hour service. And so we ended up going to a vet we didn't know any of the staff. So if you have relationships with them, with those emergency vets, and again, I think they probably have a separate association as well, or a subdivision of associations, I would look at emergency vets too, because they'll be who does a lot of that stuff.
And the Life Center in Leesburg is a wonderful one. That's where we took our beagle last year when she passed. There, that would be a great one.
Yeah, I have a connection. I do have a connection to TLC, so we've already got that one over there.
Yeah, the Hope Center is a big one in the Fairfax area as well.
Perfect. You see, this is community, right? This is how we help each other, and this is how we understand how to run up the food chain, right? We ask questions and we give the answers, right? So this is awesome. And I'm going to move on just so we don't run out of time. But if anybody needs help with that scenario, clearly I am not the only one who gets it here, which is awesome. So now we have a bunch of people that we can reach out to and get help. But of course, you can always ask me. So the importance of your network. What if each business card or contact was worth some money? What to do with that stack of business cards? Okay, so here's your stack of business cards. Does anybody have a stack like this on their desk right now? That's what I thought. I saw that happen. So we all do, or if we don't have it now, we've definitely had it in the future. Oh Lord Jesus, no, not in the future, in the past. So how then do we value them? We value them because they're worth a nickel, right? When you go order your own business card, you're paying about a nickel a pop, right? Depending on how many you order. If you order in bulk, you're paying a little less. If you order not in bulk, you're paying about a dime, right? So we value them that way, which is why we have stacks like this. But if we value them a little bit differently, what if they were worth 50 bucks? What if they were worth 100 bucks? If each business card on your desk right now was worth $100, how many people would stop what they're doing and go to lunch, right? Exactly, right? Because you would have a crap ton of money, all right? Well, guess what? You can make them worth that much. So let's say you dug into your database and you found 100 contacts. Does everybody here have at least 100 contacts, you think? I would say so, right? Yeah, okay. So according to your earlier thinking, you have about $5 worth of cards, okay? But if we placed a value of $100 on each of your business cards, you would then have $10,000 worth of business cards. How many people are excited by that? Yeah, okay. So here's how you do it. And listen, this takes work. I'm not gonna lie to you. If you wanna build your network, it's gonna take work. It's not enough to hit subscribe and join a wonderful group. You have to work and build your network. You have to build those relationships. Just like in this scenario, you're gonna have to build your database, okay? So how then do you turn each one of these pieces of cardboard into $100? Okay, so unmute yourself. So how much business can you expect to do in the course of a lifetime with a customer? Okay, anybody? Becky, if you had a client for life, how much money would they give you by the end of it?
God. I mean, it's a significant amount of money.
Okay, so what is it?
I mean, I guess it depends on how old they are. I mean, it could be, tens of thousands.
Okay, so let's say they're with you 5, 10 years. 10 years is what they're with you. How much are they gonna give you?
All right, I gotta do some math here. Hold on.
Okay, anybody else wanna unmute, tell me?
5 years, 50 grand. 50 grand.
50 grand, okay.
Yeah, mine would be 60. So same.
So
Roughly.
50, 60.
You're asking for the lifetime value, Melody?
Yeah,
Well, depending upon the client, if they're with me for 20 years, they could be worth 20,000 or they could be worth 200,000.
right, depending on the size of the account, right?
Yeah.
So,
But it doesn't
let's say
account for
20.
the referrals.
right, and we're not talking about referrals. We're just
Yeah.
talking about that client, okay? So, because this is the effort it's gonna take to get that client, all right? And again, you're right, we're not counting referrals. So what if it was $2,000 for a lifetime? Now that's pretty reasonable, right? 10,000, and we've heard $50,000, right? People have said it's $50,000. So let's just say, for the sake of things, we're gonna come right down. We're gonna go on the low end of things and say the lifetime value of your client is $5,000, okay? Now, if the lifetime value of your client is $5,000 and you collect business cards, your job is then to turn them into lifelong customers. Wouldn't you agree? Okay, we don't collect business cards because we need kindling for our campfires. All right, so here's how you do it. Actions, actions, actions. You collect 100 contacts. Here's what you do. There are just 7 actions, and this is random. You can fill in the blank with whatever you want, okay? Be creative. If you want to send somebody a balloongram, then send them a balloongram, okay? But you be creative. So let's say you did one action, and I put the action as a phone call, okay? If you did one action for 100 of the contacts that you have, which is 100 phone calls, one of them will become a lifelong customer. Isn't that exciting? That's pretty exciting. You just did one thing. Now, if you did a phone call plus you sent a card to each one of them, a postcard, whatever, you decide what you want to send. I don't care. 2 of the 100 will become lifelong customers. Okay? If you do 3 things, let's say you buy everybody lunch. Okay? 3 of them will become lifelong customers. If you don't have a big budget, lunch at Taco Bell counts. Okay? It's fun. 4, send each person a gift. I don't know, anything, a bookmark. Bobby Desai is perfect for this. I got a little gift card in the mail. It was awesome. Okay? I'm telling you, she knows how to make a hit. 4 will become, listen, you go on and on and on. You guys can read, right? You do 7 things. You do 7 different actions, significant actions to the 100 people that you've chosen to do this for. 10 of them will become lifelong customers, okay? So let's just say you stopped at 2 though. Before we go, so other ideas that you can throw in these 7 actions, you can send movie tickets. And listen, movie theaters would be happy to give away some tickets right now. So you won't even have to pay for them, all right? Coffee dates, discount coupons. How many people get discount coupons in the mail, like DSW, yada, 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 right? Those kinds of things. 7-Eleven day, just remind them that it's 7-Eleven day, you can get a free Slurpee. Just a reminder. That's an action, y'all. Come up with something fun and creative. Does anybody have anything fun and creative for an action to do for your database? Anybody? Unmute.
I have something. You
What?
can't see it right now. It's very simple, but I love to send little stickers to remind them of themselves because I usually send monograms.
Oh, that's
It's
nice.
a simple thing.
That's true. She does that. I've been the recipient.
That's beautiful. Anybody else have an
In fact,
idea?
if anybody wants to give me their address, I'll be happy to send you some.
Okay, this is on it. There's an action.
Melody, Sally, when I see somebody celebrating something, like today we have someone in this group celebrating a 1-year anniversary, I will save that Facebook post and I will send them a card or a gift or brownies or something, but just letting them know I'm celebrating with them. We have a lady that's celebrating a 1-year, very significant anniversary on our group today. And I just want people to know that you're thinking of them.
That's awesome. That's beautiful. So just plug in whatever you get it, right? You don't have to use my suggestions. You plug in your 7 actions that you want to do, okay?
Ellie, that was for National Ice Cream Day. I sent out ice cream gift cards to all of my clients and referral partners.
That's awesome.
So find a national day, and it's not that expensive. So, do a gift card or a coupon or something for something special.
And I'm pretty sure there's a National Joke Day, so you could send a corny joke in the mail. How fun would that be? Right? Or even email. It's like if that's where your budget is. Like, come on.
Y'all can send me wine on Wednesday every week.
Amen.
Right. So let's just say you stopped at 2. You just did 2 things. Like literally, you just stopped at 2 things. And out of the 100 people, the 100 business cards that you have, 2 of them become lifelong customers. Now we said it was worth $5,000, right? So if 2 then became lifelong customers, you then now have $10,000. $10,000 divided by 100 of your cards, that you reached out to, 98 did not become clients, but 2 of them did. Your business cards in that pile are now worth $100 each. Does that make sense? Does anybody have questions on that? Do you understand how action speaks volumes? I mean, I'm not talking about a lot of things here. That was just 2. Imagine how much your business cards would be worth if you went to 7 actions and 10 of them became those clients. Like, that's crazy money, okay? So following up, it is the supreme F word in your business, okay? Following up is such an F word. But here's the stats, and don't take my word for it, you can Google these. 48% of salespeople never follow up the prospect. Why are you going to networking? How many people are guilty of going to a networking event, collecting business cards, and never once reaching out to one of them? At least one time in your life, have you ever done that? Thank you, Jesus. Thanks for the honesty. Okay, listen, it's a waste of time. Go have dinner with your family, go watch a movie by yourself, whatever it is. But if you don't follow up, there's no point in being there, right? You have to follow up. 25% of salespeople make a second contact and then stop. Well, second contact, like we see, you know, you're like excited because you've already got a couple of clients, so you're like, well, screw it, I'm going to stop at 2. 12% of salespeople only make 3 contacts and then stop. And then only 10% of salespeople actually make more than 3 contacts. Now, here's the other side of the coin on that. 2% of the sales are made on the first contact. 3% are made on the second, 5 on the third, 10% on the fourth, and 80% of sales are made on the 5th to 12th contact. And this is actually an old stat. Because of the technology world we live in, you're looking at, the new stats are 10 to 17. So this is a serious thing, following up and taking action on the current data that you already have. A lot of us are like, I gotta meet more people, I gotta meet new people, I gotta meet more. Listen, you have so many people in your database already, okay? 80% of sales require 5 follow-up calls after your first meeting for engaged contact. How many people are doing 5 follow-up calls at least? All right. How many people, they haven't heard that, this isn't the first time they've heard this. I know I'm not saying anything new, but we're all reminded of it, right? All right, so can we just promise this community right now that you do at least 5 follow-up calls, 5 follow-up actions, 5 follow-up something, 5 touches with the person, the next person that you meet with. I want you to make sure it's in your calendar for 5 more times after you meet with them initially, and see how that changes your business. So you have to execute a plan. Here's the 12 personal touches for the year. And again, I just threw something together, but you can plug in any of that text, the personal email, the phone call. You can put whatever you want in there, okay? But if you do 12, this you can automate. Social media can be automated. Email newsletters can be automated. Birthday cards can be automated. The rest of it, you can do personal touches, right? So use automation to your benefit to kind of alleviate those touch points, but you still have to do some work. You still have to make a personal text message. How hard is it to say, today I'm going to text 3 people and say, hey, I was just thinking of you, I'm hoping you have a good day. That's it. You can even cut and paste that damn message to 3 people. You don't even have to type it 3 times, okay? And then whoever texts back, you can just start that conversation. And there's one check. There's a touch point, okay?
Hey, Melody?
Yeah.
So, quick question. It's Holly. So with the 12 personal touches, is that 12 touches to a single contact throughout the year? Like, what's the?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely, Holly. Thank you for the clarification.
Thank you.
Yeah. So one person you actually make a point to reach out to at least 12 times for that year. And I'm saying we don't have to be overachievers. Can we just commit to 5, right? Can we just commit to 5? So any other questions besides that? Mosey on. And we'll have time for open discussion because I'm almost done. So the art of the ask. Listen, you have spent the time getting to know your contacts. Please, 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 please. Don't be afraid to ask for stuff, okay? 3 points of contact before you even think about it: personal likes, dislikes, family, professional goals, etc. Nothing irks me more than when I sit down with somebody and the first thing they do is tell me all about their business and why I need their product. I glaze over. I literally glaze over. And a couple of times I've called them out on it when I'm feeling kind of frisky, okay? But I gotta tell you, they never get a second meeting with me. Like, it just doesn't happen. I don't have time to be sold. If you wanna get to know who I am and I get to know who you are, and then we find that commonality kind of thing where I'm like, oh, I kind of like you, I kind of dig you. I was just in my last meeting. We had, all of us are Canadian. Oh, hey, that's awesome. It was a commonality. None of us talked about our business. We were all just talking about stuff and realized we had some serious commonalities going on. So that is the fun part about networking. That's what makes networking fun, is when you find those things, okay? So always, your first contact, please don't do anything else except get to know that person. Now, if they ask you, hey, what do you do for a living? Okay, answer it. But please don't push that down anybody's throat. Don't be afraid to answer it, but please also don't say, do you want to buy? No, listen, that's not that point of that question. All right, determine what your specific ask will be. Always have something specific in mind, so when someone does say, hey, how can I help you? Make sure you have an answer for that. Like, is it a connection that you need? Make sure if it's a connection, like Holly, if you find out who is the head of the Emergency Veterinarian Association, you find out that name, and every single networking group you go to, I want you to say, hey, do you know Bob Jones? Hey, does anybody here know Bob Jones? Because you know what, people's network, like I said, revert back to my first slide. Your neighbors, your son's football coach. You never know if Bob Jones is also volunteering as a coach somewhere and someone says, oh my gosh, he's my son's coach. What a great connection that would be. You have to be ready for it though, and you have to know people's names. So it's not enough that you know the entity. Now you start digging and finding people's names and do that specific ask. So business or sale. So don't let the size of your ask dominate your mission. Some of us in here have products that we sell for $20. It's not that big. You know what? And some of us have products in here that we sell for $20,000. It is the same sentence. It is the same sentence, people. They're doing business with you. You need to make sure that you are prepared for a very confident and secure ask, whether it's you're asking for 20 bucks or whether you're asking for 20,000. It's not about the money, it's about your confidence, okay? Use words like, I would like you to consider, or is there any reason why you couldn't? And I know people are like, roll their eyes at this sometimes, but let me tell you, this works. So start letting that roll off your tongue. In your affirmations in the morning, I want you, hey, is there any reason why you wouldn't consider? Like, make it your own. Combine the sentences. I don't care. Just be comfortable. Get a commitment of something before ending the conversation. So whether your first time should always be a commitment for a second meeting, period. But if you're meeting with somebody you've met with a lot, or it's a potential client, and you know, and they know that they're a potential client, make sure you always have the next agenda. So, okay, are you comfortable enough? Should we schedule the next date to be our date of sale? What do you need? So always make sure that you have that second meeting, right? Now, if you went to a one-to-one with somebody and you did not want to ever see them again, then clearly this is not for you, right? Do not ask for another commitment. But if you met with somebody on a one-to-one and you're like, man, there's more here, I really want to get to know them, then schedule it before you leave. So clearly your network has exponential power, and you can do lots of stuff in your network, and you don't have to be salesy. You can just be committed to helping people out. So does that make sense? Does anybody have any questions?
I'd like to share a story that happened to me when I, maybe about 15 years ago, I was visiting a childhood friend, and her sister-in-law was leaving. And she goes, well, Patrice, what are you doing? I told her what I did. And she goes, oh my God, I had no idea that you did gift baskets. We send gift baskets all the time. And I said, and she goes, I would love to use you. And I said, well, who do you work for? And she said, I have the same job as I started out part-time in high school, which was Kentucky Fried Chicken. And so she's in corporate in Kentucky Fried Chicken. So every quarter, every Kentucky Fried Chicken on the East Coast that makes their quota, I send a gift basket to their store.
Wow.
So you just never know. I mean, I had no idea that she had the same job at Kentucky Fried Chicken from when she was a punky little kid in school. And look what happened. Oh my gosh. So it's true. You just never know.
Right. That's amazing. That's a great story. Thank you. Anybody else have something to add? No? Okay. Well, I think.
Just gonna say the follow-up really is the key, and